The scary aliens come. The sky was dark that night, darker than usual. Little did anyone know that something big and scary was coming to Earth. Up in space, far beyond the moon, a huge ship appeared. It was black and looked like a giant spider. This was the ship of the Voidborn, the scariest aliens in the whole universe. Inside the ship, the Voidborn leader Zix looked at Earth through a big screen. Zix was tall, with 4 arms and skin that looked like metal. His eyes glowed red as he spoke to his crew. "Look at that tiny blue planet," Zix said. His voice was deep and cold. "Those humans think they're so special, but they're weak. We'll crush them easily." The other Voidborn nodded. They had beaten many other aliens before. Humans would be no different, they thought. Back on Earth, it was a normal day. People went to work. Kids played in parks, and everything seemed fine. But in a secret base deep underground, something was wrong. Dr. Sarah Lee, Earth's top space scientist, was looking at a computer screen. Her eyes went wide with fear. "Oh no," she whispered. "They're here." She ran to tell her boss, General Mike Stone. He was a tough man who had seen many battles. But when Dr. Lee showed him what she found, even he looked scared. "Are you sure?" General Stone asked. His voice was shaky. Dr. Lee nodded. "Yes, sir. A huge object just appeared near Mars. It's moving fast towards Earth, and it's not answering any of our calls." General Stone picked up a red phone. It was time to call the president. In the White House, President Jane Wilson was having a normal day. She was reading some papers when her phone rang. When she answered, her face turned white. "Get everyone here now," she ordered. "We have a big problem." Soon, the White House was full of important people. Army generals, scientists, and government leaders all gathered in a big room. President Wilson stood up to speak. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, her voice serious, "we are not alone, and we are in danger." She showed them pictures of the alien ship. Everyone in the room gasped. It was bigger than anything they had ever seen. "What do we do?" someone asked. Fear was in everyone's eyes. "We fight," said General Stone. "We've faced tough times before. We'll face this one too." But even as he said it, he wasn't sure. These aliens looked stronger than anything on Earth. Outside, people started to notice something was wrong. The sky got darker. Strange lights appeared. TVs and phones stopped working. In New York, a little girl pointed at the sky. "Mommy, what's that?" she asked. Her mother looked up and screamed. A huge shadow was covering the sun. All over the world, people saw the same thing. A massive ship, bigger than any city, was approaching Earth. Panic spread quickly. In China, millions of people ran into the streets. In Brazil, beaches were empty as everyone rushed to find safety. In Africa, villages gathered to pray. World leaders tried to calm people down. They said on TV, "Stay calm. We are working on a solution." But nobody knew what to do. The Voidborn ship came closer and closer. Earth's best weapons, rockets, laser guns, and force fields, all failed to stop it. It was like trying to stop a bull with a fly swatter. Zix laughed as he watched Earth's attempts to fight back. "Pathetic," he said. "This will be even easier than we thought." The Voidborn prepared to attack. They had weapons that could destroy whole cities in seconds. They were ready to take over Earth. But they didn't know one thing. Humans were tougher than they looked. And when things get really bad, humans can do amazing things. As the alien ship entered Earth's atmosphere, a small group of people started to form a plan. They weren't going to give up without a fight. Dr. Lee looked at her team. "We might be small," she said, "but we're smart, and we have something the aliens don't have. We're fighting for our home." The stage was set. The scariest aliens in the universe were here. But Earth wasn't going to make it easy for them. The biggest fight in human history was about to begin. The fight begins. The Voidborn ship hung in the sky like a giant dark cloud. People all over Earth looked up in fear. The alien ship was so big it blocked out the sun in many places. Suddenly, without warning, the attack began. Bright beams of light shot down from the ship. Where they hit, buildings exploded into dust. Cars melted like ice cream on a hot day. The ground shook so hard it felt like the whole earth was breaking apart. In New York, the Statue of Liberty fell into the sea. In Paris, the Eiffel Tower bent like it was made of rubber. In Tokyo, skyscrapers toppled like dominoes. People ran screaming through the streets. Smoke and dust filled the air. It was hard to see and harder to breathe. Inside the secret underground base, Dr. Sarah Lee and General Mike Stone watched in horror. Screens showed destruction all over the world. "We have to do something," Dr. Lee shouted over the noise of alarms. General Stone nodded grimly. "Launch everything we've got," he ordered. All over the world, military bases sprang into action. Planes took off, loaded with missiles. Tanks rolled out of hangars. Soldiers grabbed their guns and got ready to fight. But it wasn't enough. When planes got close to the alien ship, they just stopped working. Their engines died, and they fell from the sky. Tanks fired their biggest guns, but the shots just bounced off the alien ship like pebbles. Even nuclear missiles, the strongest weapons on Earth, didn't work. They exploded before they got close to the ship, like fireworks that couldn't hurt anyone. The Voidborn laughed as they watched Earth's attempts to fight back. "Is this really the best they can do?" Zix, the alien leader, said with a sneer. "I've seen tougher fights on planets half this size." But then, something unexpected happened. In a small town in the middle of nowhere, a group of teenagers was hiding in their high school. They watched as a small Voidborn ship landed nearby. "We should run," said one boy, his voice shaking. But Sarah, the class president, had an idea. "Wait," she said. "Remember our science project?" The teens looked at each other. They had been working on a big radio for a school contest. It wasn't finished, but it was powerful. "What if we use it to mess up their communications?" Sarah suggested. It was a crazy idea, but they had nothing to lose. They turned on their radio and pointed it at the alien ship. At first, nothing happened. But then, the small ship started to shake. Smoke came out of it. Suddenly, it fell to the ground with a loud crash. The teens couldn't believe their eyes. They had just taken down an alien ship with a half-finished school project. News of this small victory spread fast. It gave people hope. Maybe the aliens weren't invincible after all. All over the world, people started to fight back in their own ways. In India, computer programmers worked day and night to hack the alien systems. In Brazil, farmers used their knowledge of the land to hide and attack alien scouts. Even animals joined the fight. In Africa, a herd of elephants trampled a group of Voidborn soldiers. In Australia, kangaroos bounced away with stolen alien gadgets. The aliens were confused. They had never seen anything like this before. "How are they doing this?" Zix yelled, slamming his fist on his control panel. "They're supposed to be weak." But humans were proving to be anything but weak. They were creative, they were brave, and most importantly, they refused to give up. Back in the underground base, Dr. Lee was excited. "General, look at this," she said, pointing to her screen. "The alien shields weaken when they fire their big weapons. If we time it right, we might be able to hit them." General Stone's eyes lit up. "That's it," he said. "We need to tell everyone. This could be our chance." As the sun set on the first day of the invasion, things looked bad for Earth. Many cities were destroyed. Millions of people were hurt or missing. But there was also hope. Humans had learned that they could fight back. They had found weaknesses in the alien defenses. The Voidborn thought this fight would be easy. They thought they would win in a day. But as night fell, they'd realized something that made them very, very worried. This fight was far from over, and humans were much, much tougher than they looked. Humans fight back. The sun rose on the third day of the alien invasion. The world was a mess. Smoke rose from broken cities. People were scared and tired. But something was changing. The fear was turning into anger. Humans were ready to fight back. In the underground base, Dr. Sarah Lee hadn't slept in days. Her eyes were red, but they shone with excitement. "General Stone," she called. "I think I've got something." General Mike Stone rushed over. He looked at the complex diagrams on her computer screen. "What am I looking at, Doctor?" Dr. Lee pointed to a blinking dot. "That's the weak spot in their shields. When they fire their big guns, there's a tiny gap. If we hit it just right, we might be able to damage their ships." General Stone's face lit up. "That's brilliant. But how do we hit such a small target?" A voice came from behind them. "Maybe I can help with that." They turned to see a young woman in a pilot's uniform. It was Captain Maria Rodriguez, the best fighter pilot in the world. "I've flown through hurricanes and dodged missiles," Captain Rodriguez said with a grin. "I bet I can thread that needle." Meanwhile, in a small lab in Japan, a group of scientists made an important discovery. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka held up a small vial of liquid. "Look at this," he said to his team. "The alien's metal melts when it touches this compound." The team cheered. It wasn't a weapon, but it could help defend against the alien attacks. Across the world, more people were finding ways to fight back. In a high school in Brazil, a group of students figured out how to jam the aliens' communication signals using old radio parts and a satellite dish. In Kenya, a tribe of Maasai warriors discovered that their traditional hunting techniques were perfect for sneaking up on alien scouts. Even in the heart of New York City, now a wasteland of broken buildings, something amazing was happening. A group of Broadway performers were using their costumes and makeup skills to disguise people as aliens. This let them sneak into alien camps and steal important information. The Voidborn were getting frustrated. Zix, their leader, paced back and forth on his ship. "How is this happening?" he roared. "These humans should be easy to beat." One of his officers spoke up. "Sir, they're adapting. Every time we change our tactics, they find a new way to fight back. I've never seen anything like it." Zix growled. "Then we'll just have to hit them harder." But the humans were ready. When the next wave of attacks came, they were prepared. As alien ships descended on London, Captain Rodriguez was waiting in her fighter jet. She watched her radar, waiting for the right moment. The alien ship fired its main weapon. "Now," she yelled, pushing her jet to full speed. She flew straight at the alien ship, dodging laser blasts. At the last second, she fired her missiles and pulled up. The missiles hit the tiny weak spot in the alien shield. There was a huge explosion, and the alien ship fell from the sky. All over the world, similar scenes played out. In Tokyo, scientists sprayed Dr. Tanaka's compound on alien weapons, making them useless. In Rio de Janeiro, the student hackers scrambled alien communications, making their ships crash into each other. For the first time, the Voidborn were losing battles. But the fight was far from over. The aliens still had powerful weapons and huge numbers. They launched a massive attack on the last big human stronghold, the underground base where Dr. Lee and General Stone were working. Thousands of alien soldiers surrounded the base. Their biggest ship hovered overhead, ready to destroy everything. Inside the base, things looked bad. "We're outnumbered," General Stone said grimly. "We can't win this fight." But Dr. Lee wasn't ready to give up. "Maybe we don't have to win," she said. "We just need to survive. I have an idea, but it's crazy." She explained her plan. It was dangerous. It might not work, but it was their only chance. As the aliens prepared for their final attack, the humans got ready. They weren't just fighting for themselves anymore. They were fighting for Earth, for humanity, for everything they loved. The biggest battle was about to begin. The fate of the world hung in the balance. But for the first time since the invasion started, there was real hope. Humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were starting to win. Humans get smarter. The big battle at the underground base was over. Humans had won, but just barely. Dr. Sarah Lee looked at the mess around her. Broken machines and torn wires were everywhere. But her eyes were bright with an idea. "General Stone," she said, "I think I know how we can beat the aliens for good." General Mike Stone raised an eyebrow. "I'm listening, Doctor." Dr. Lee pointed to a pile of alien tech they had captured. "We've been trying to fight their technology. But what if we use it instead?" This was a big idea. All around the world, people started to work on it. In a lab in India, computer wizards figured out how to read alien code. It was like learning a new language, but instead of words, it was all numbers and symbols. "Look at this," shouted Raj, the lead programmer. He pointed at his screen. "Their ships talk to each other all the time. If we can send the right message." His team cheered. They could trick the alien ships into flying the wrong way or even shutting down. Meanwhile, in a field in Kansas, farmers were making a strange discovery. The aliens couldn't go near their cornfields. "It's like they're allergic to it," said Emma, a young farmer. She held up an ear of corn. "Maybe we can use this." Scientists tested the corn and found out Emma was right. Something in the corn made the aliens feel sick. It wasn't a weapon, but it could help protect people. In Australia, a group of surfers noticed something odd about the waves near the alien ships. "The water acts weird around their force fields," said Jake, riding his board back to shore. "It's like the shields can't work right in the water." This info was sent to navies around the world. Soon, submarines were the new secret weapon against the alien ships. But the biggest breakthrough came from an unexpected place. In a small town in Africa, a young girl named Amara was playing with a cat. The cat was chasing a laser pointer, trying to catch the red dot. Amara watched the cat and then looked up at an alien ship in the sky. She had an idea. She told her idea to her teacher, who told the local army, who told the world leaders. Soon, everyone was excited about Amara's plan. The Voidborn didn't know what hit them. Suddenly, their ships were being pulled off course by giant lasers. The beams didn't hurt the ships, but the aliens couldn't resist following them, just like Amara's cat. "What's happening?" yelled Zix, the alien leader. His ship was spinning in circles, chasing a red dot it could never catch. Humans were using the aliens' own habits against them. It was working better than anyone had hoped. But the aliens were smart too. They started to catch on to the tricks. "We need something bigger," said General Stone. "Something they won't expect." That's when Dr. Lee had her craziest idea yet. "What if," she said slowly, "we don't just use their tech? What if we combine it with ours?" It was a wild plan. Take Earth's best technology and mix it with the alien tech they'd captured. No one knew if it would work, but they had to try. All over the world, people worked day and night. They built new machines that were half human, half alien. Computers that could think in two languages at once. Weapons that used Earth's nature and alien power together. The first test was in the desert. A small team, led by Captain Maria Rodriguez, faced off against an alien scout ship. The humans had a new vehicle. It looked like a mix between a tank and a spaceship. "Ready?" asked Captain Rodriguez. Her team nodded. The alien ship attacked first, but the new human vehicle was ready. It dodged the attack easily. Then, it fired back. A beam of light shot out, but it wasn't like any weapon the aliens had seen. It was a mix of sunlight and alien energy. The alien ship shields didn't know what to do. They fell apart like paper. In seconds, the alien ship was down. The humans cheered. News of this victory spread fast. The Voidborn were worried for the first time. "How did they do that?" Zix demanded. "It's impossible." But for humans, nothing seemed impossible anymore. They had learned, adapted, and grown smarter. They weren't just fighting the aliens now. They were outsmarting them. As the sun set on another day of the war, there was a new feeling in the air. It wasn't just hope anymore. It was excitement. Humans were no longer just surviving. They were getting ready to win. The Voidborn had come to Earth thinking it would be an easy victory. Now they were starting to wonder if coming here was the biggest mistake they had ever made. Earth strikes back. The world was ready. After weeks of fighting and learning, humans had a plan. Today, they would take the fight to the aliens. In the underground base, General Mike Stone looked at the people around him. Scientists, soldiers, and regular folks who had become heroes. They all waited for his signal. "It's time," he said. His voice was strong and sure. "Let's take back our planet." All over Earth, people sprang into action. This was the day they had been waiting for. In New York, a team led by Captain Maria Rodriguez climbed into their new vehicles. These machines were a mix of human and alien tech. They looked like tanks but could fly like spaceships. "Remember the plan," Maria said to her team. "Hit them fast and hit them hard." In the skies above London, a fleet of planes took off. But these weren't normal planes. They had been changed with alien tech. Now they could fly higher and faster than ever before. Even in space, humans were ready. A group of astronauts had taken over a small alien ship. They had learned how to fly it and were ready to attack from above. The Voidborn didn't know what was coming. On their main ship, Zix was feeling confident again. "These humans are clever," he told his officers, "but they can't beat us. We're too strong." He was wrong, and he was about to find out how wrong. The attack started at dawn. All at once, humans all over the world fought back. In New York, Maria's team zoomed through the streets in their new vehicles. They fired special weapons that could break through alien shields. Alien ships fell from the sky like rain. "It's working," Maria shouted. Her team cheered as another alien ship crashed. In London, the new planes flew circles around the alien ships. The aliens couldn't hit them, but the humans could hit the aliens. "Take that, you big bullies," yelled one pilot as he shot down an alien fighter. Even nature was helping. In the Amazon rainforest, the trees seemed to come alive. They tangled alien vehicles and trapped alien soldiers. It was like the whole forest was fighting back. On beaches around the world, people used the new tech to control the waves. Giant walls of water smashed into alien ships, dragging them down into the sea. But the biggest surprise came from space. The astronauts in the stolen alien ship flew right up to the main Voidborn ship. The aliens didn't attack because they thought it was one of their own ships. "Surprise," said the lead astronaut as they fired their weapons. The big Voidborn ship shook. Alarms went off everywhere inside. Zix couldn't believe what was happening. "How?" he yelled. "How are they beating us?" One of his officers looked scared. "Sir," he said, I think we made a mistake coming here." Back on Earth, Dr. Sarah Lee watched it all on big screens. Every time humans won a fight, she marked it on a map. The map was filling up with wins. "We're doing it," she said softly. "We're really doing it." General Stone stood next to her. He smiled for the first time in weeks. "Yes, we are," he said. "Earth is striking back." The fight wasn't over. There were still many alien ships. The Voidborn still had powerful weapons, but something had changed. Now, the aliens were the ones running away. Now, they were the ones who were scared. As the sun set on this big day, people around the world celebrated. In every city, town, and village, humans cheered and hugged each other. They had won many fights today. In a small town, a little girl looked up at the sky. The alien ships that had scared her for so long were running away. "Are we winning?" she asked her mom. Her mom smiled and hugged her tight. "Yes, sweetheart," she said. "We're winning." On the Voidborn ship, Zix made a hard choice. "Prepare to leave this planet," he told his crew. For the first time ever, the mighty Voidborn were running away. They had come to crush the humans. Instead, the humans had shown them what real strength was. As the big alien ships started to fly away from Earth, humans everywhere felt something new. It wasn't just hope anymore. It was pride. It was joy. It was the feeling of taking back their home. Earth had struck back, and Earth was winning. The big battle. The sky was dark with alien ships. The Voidborn were angry. They had tried to run, but now they were back. And this time, they had brought their biggest weapon. On Earth, everyone knew this was it. The big battle. The fight that would decide everything. In the underground base, Dr. Sarah Lee looked at the giant screen. It showed a massive alien ship, bigger than a city. "What is that thing?" General Mike Stone asked, his voice shaking a little. Dr. Lee's face was pale. "It's their doomsday ship," she said. "If it fires, it could destroy the whole planet." Around the world, people got ready for the fight of their lives. In New York, Captain Maria Rodriguez jumped into her hybrid fighter. "Let's show these aliens what Earth can do," she told her team. In a lab in Tokyo, Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka worked fast. He was mixing his alien melting compound with the corn that made aliens sick. "This might be our secret weapon," he said. Even kids were helping. In a small town, Amara, the girl who had the laser pointer idea, was teaching other children how to confuse alien scouts. High above Earth, astronauts in their stolen alien ship got ready. "We'll hit them from above," the captain said. The Voidborn leader, Zix, stood on his giant ship. He was furious. "Destroy them all," he screamed to his army. The battle began with a roar. Thousands of alien ships dived towards Earth. But humans were ready. Fighter jets zoomed into the sky, firing weapons that cut through alien shields. On the ground, tanks that could now fly shot up to meet the aliens halfway. In the oceans, submarines popped up, shooting special water cannons that short-circuited alien ships. Maria flew her hybrid fighter right into the middle of the alien fleet. "Eat this," she yelled, firing a mix of human and alien weapons. Alien ships exploded all around her. But the aliens fought back hard. They had numbers on their side. For every ship humans took down, it seemed like two more appeared. On the ground, things were tough. Alien soldiers landed in cities. They were strong and had tough armor, but humans had tricks up their sleeves. In Paris, people used mirrors to reflect the aliens' own lasers back at them. In Rio, carnival dancers in shiny costumes confused the aliens' targeting systems. Dr. Tanaka's team sprayed their new compound everywhere. Alien weapons melted. Alien soldiers felt sick and confused. But the Voidborn kept coming, and their doomsday ship was getting closer. "We need to take down that big ship," General Stone shouted. Dr. Lee had an idea. "If we can get inside, maybe we can use their own computer against them." It was a crazy plan, but it was their only hope. A small team was picked for this mission. Captain Rodriguez would fly them in her fastest ship. Dr. Lee would hack the alien computer, and a young soldier named Alex, who was great with aliens' weapons, would protect them. As they flew towards the massive doomsday ship, the battle raged all around them. It was like flying through fireworks, but each light was an explosion that could kill them. "Hold on," Maria shouted as she dodged and weaved through the chaos. They landed on the big ship, finding a small opening. As they ran inside, Alex used alien weapons to clear the path. Dr. Lee followed, carrying a special computer. Back on Earth, everyone watched and waited. The fate of the planet depended on this small team. Inside the doomsday ship, our heroes fought their way to the main control room. It was like being inside a giant monster. Everything was huge and scary. Finally, they'd reached the heart of the ship. Dr. Lee plugged in her computer. "Cover me," she shouted as she started to hack. Maria and Alex stood guard, fighting off aliens who tried to stop them. It was like a scene from an action movie, but this was real. And the stakes were the highest they could be. Just when it seemed like they might fail, Dr. Lee shouted, "I've got it." She had taken control of the ship. With a few commands, she turned its weapons away from Earth. Zix, The Voidborn leader couldn't believe it. His greatest weapon was now pointing at his own fleet. "No," he screamed, but it was too late. The doomsday ship fired, but instead of hitting Earth, it hit the alien ships. In a flash of light brighter than the sun, most of the Voidborn fleet was gone. The humans on the ship barely escaped as it started to fall apart. As they flew back to Earth, they saw an amazing sight. All around the world, the remaining aliens were running away. Cheers erupted everywhere. In cities, in small towns, in fields and mountains, everyone was hugging and crying with joy. They had done it. Earth had won the big battle. As the sun rose on a new day, the world looked different. There was damage everywhere, but there was also hope. Humans had faced the greatest threat in the universe, and they had won. The big battle was over, and Earth was still standing. Humans win. The sun rose on a quiet Earth. For the first time in months, there were no alien ships in the sky. No sounds of battle. Just peace. People came out of their homes slowly, looking up with hope and wonder. Was it really over? Had they really won? In New York, Captain Maria Rodriguez landed her hybrid fighter. She was tired but smiling. "We did it," she said to her team. "We really did it." In the underground base, Dr. Sarah Lee and General Mike Stone watched as reports came in from around the world. Everywhere, it was the same story. The aliens were gone. "I can't believe it," General Stone said, his voice full of emotion. "We won." Dr. Lee nodded, tears in her eyes. "Humanity did it. We beat the greatest threat in the universe." But winning the war was just the beginning. Now, they had to rebuild. All over the world, people came together to clean up and fix their cities. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of damage. But humans were used to hard work now. In Paris, people used pieces of fallen alien ships to rebuild the Eiffel Tower. It looked different. Part Earth, part alien. But it was beautiful. In Tokyo, Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka and his team found ways to use alien tech to clean up pollution. Soon, the air in big cities was cleaner than it had ever been. Even in small towns, things were changing. Amara, the girl with the laser pointer idea, started a school to teach kids about space and aliens. "We need to be ready," she said, "in case they ever come back." But the biggest changes were happening in labs and factories around the world. Scientists and engineers were studying the alien technology left behind. They were learning so much. "Look at this," Dr. Lee said, holding up a small device. "This little thing can power a whole city. And it's clean energy, too." Humans were growing and changing fast. They were becoming smarter and stronger than ever before. In space, things were changing, too. The astronauts who had helped win the war were now leading missions to explore the solar system. They used the alien ships they had captured to fly farther than any human had ever gone before. "Mars is just the beginning," one astronaut said as she stepped onto the red planet. "We're going to see the whole universe now." Back on Earth, world leaders met to talk about the future. For the first time ever, all countries were working together. They had learned that they were stronger united. "We faced the greatest danger together," the President of the United States said. "Now let's build the greatest future together." They made big plans. Cities in the sky, oceans cleaned of all pollution, deserts turned into gardens. It all seemed impossible before. But after beating the aliens, nothing seemed impossible anymore. But not everyone had forgotten the danger. General Stone and his team kept watch, just in case. "We'll be ready if they ever come back," he said. "But this time, we'll meet them out there, not here." As months passed, Earth changed in amazing ways. New buildings rose, mixing human ideas with alien tech. Cars that could fly became common. Diseases that once seemed unbeatable were now easily cured. People's lives got better too. With new technology, there was enough food and energy for everyone. People had more time to learn, to create, to explore. One day, a year after the big battle, there was a special celebration. People all over the world gathered to remember what they had been through and to look to the future. In a park in New York, now rebuilt and more beautiful than ever, Captain Rodriguez stood on a stage. Next to her were Dr. Lee, General Stone, and many others who had helped save the world. "We won more than a war," Maria said to the crowd. "We won our future. We showed the universe what humans can do." As she spoke, something amazing happened. A new ship, built by humans using everything they had learned, took off from a nearby field. It rose into the sky, glowing with power. Everyone watched in awe as it flew higher and higher, then disappeared among the stars. Dr. Lee smiled. "That's the first of our new exploration fleet," she said. "We're not just protecting Earth anymore. We're going to explore the whole galaxy." As night fell, people looked up at the stars. But they weren't afraid anymore. Now, when they saw the vastness of space, they felt excitement. The aliens had come to conquer Earth. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity wasn't just safe now. It was reaching for the stars. Humans had won, and their greatest adventure was just beginning.